We both picked Joaquin Buckley on this one, man. I think we probably had different methodologies for it to win. I think I had Buckley with a TKO in like round 2 or something like that. He gets it in round 3, but this was a fight that he was basically losing the majority of the fight. And the biggest reason why I think that occurred is because he was fighting out at distance. Even though he had longer reach than Antonio Arroyo, man. Arroyo's kicks, his distance management, man, his mirroring was pretty phenomenal, man. And do you know what I mean when I say his mirroring? They talked about it on the broadcast a little bit.
Oh yeah. If you know you move a little left, he's moving off, cutting you off, making the lead foot. Especially when you're fighting opposite stance fighter. I believe they were southpaw versus orthodox. You want that lead foot on the outside, and every time he's moving, you move a little bit too.
Exactly, man. So it's perfect right there because it's like, honestly, they teach you that in boxing, right? You want to be literally mirroring your opponent. That way you can maintain. So it's like for Arroyo, he kept perfect kicking range the entire fight, man, which is basically how he was able to lead the dance. My question to you, man, is Joaquin Buckley's power just ridiculous to the level of, I mean, doesn't matter at what point in the fight he could put you down? Or do you think it had a little bit to do with just a perfect timing? He throws a big, I believe it was a right hook that just happened to catch Arroyo like on the back of his head. You know what I mean? Like unintentional. Not like he was trying to do it, but it just kind of like skimmed him on the back of the head. That seems like what dropped him initially, but then it was like an uppercut that really floored him and put him out there, man. There was a couple of those behind the head shots that happened unintentionally tonight, but I just want to know, man, you can't legally hit somebody in the back of the head intentionally for a reason. So do you think that had a little bit to do with it?
Yeah, I would say it had a little bit to do with it. I mean, and it's rough when you got both people coming forward on the attack and you throw that hook to hit the chin, but they move forward just a little bit and it hits them in the back. Yeah, it's going to do a little bit of damage. That brain stem is back there doing its job. You tap that a little bit and people are going to go to sleep. But I do think it was the uppercut right after the hook that actually put him under, because you saw him going to go a little limp with it whenever he got hit with the uppercut. Yeah, it definitely had a little bit to do with it, but I'm Joaquin Buckley. His power is there. You know, it's not like he's just, throwing noodle punches or anything. Joaquin Buckley has some snap to him.
So you had said something when we was going back and forth in a little, chat that we got, right? You were saying that Joaquin Buckley is or actually maybe you weren't saying this. Somebody was saying this. Joaquin Buckley is a true promoter's wet dream or something like that. You probably didn't say that at all, so apologies about that. But basically, Joaquin Buckley is a promoter's wet dream in the sense of the man is always coming for violence, win or lose. It doesn't matter where he is at in the fight. The man is trying to come and take the other person's head off, man. And if you're a promoter, you want this man in your promotion. I don't care if it's Bellator, UFC, PFL, regardless, man. Do you agree with that sentiment, man? Is Joaquin Buckley like a true company man in a weird way? Because he doesn't present himself as a company man, but the way he fights is pretty favorable to the company.
Yeah, Derek. I mean, I agree with the sentiment 100%. I don't think he's necessarily the company man as much as like a Stephen Thompson is, or even an Alexander Smith is. He's Anthony Smith. Excuse me, I had brain fart there. But he's kind of like that outsider. You know the movies where like the outsider, like the rebel comes to save the day. Kind of the same sort of aspect as Joaquin Buckley. Not necessarily your shined up guy that's going to be doing press conferences or going to answer the phone all the time. He might ignore your call. He might, have a little bit of a guff to his side, not necessarily shined up, but when he does answer the call, he's going to come to fight, and he's going to put full pressure forward. And he's kind of a savage, man. I like Joaquin Buckley for that. He has a little bit of that, like B squad mentality, if that makes sense. Not necessarily like B squad as in he's like bad or he's not in, the top dog or anything, but that he's been put on the practice squad. And you come across that line, he's going to hit you hard because he's been shaded a little bit. He's got that kind of grit to him. That's why I like him a lot.
It's almost kind of like Cowboy Cerrone style, right? Just kind of, on the edge type of guy, you know what I mean? Just like a little out there, right? My question to you ultimately about this matchup, man, is one, what do you think Joaquin Buckley learned about himself in this match? Do you think that his confidence is going through the roof because he knows he can overcome adversity truly? I mean, listen, all 5 of his last victories have come via KO, and all of his losses have come via KO recently, you know what I mean? The man is not a fan of going to a decision. What do you think he learned about himself in this one?
I'm hoping that he learned that he needs to go to a ground game attack, my
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
That's what I'm hoping he learns because it's basically non-existent. Like if he would have been able to get on the inside, put the peekaboo on Arroyo and then get on the inside, duck under, get a takedown, or even like fake a takedown and then go up top and start banging. I think it would have been a lot better for him than staying at range.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I really do. I think he learned that he's not made of glass anymore because that Alicio de Chirico was just a kind of a fluke knockout. So he was able to actually see, I still got it. I can still hang in here with the best of them. But I hope he learned that he needs a ground game going forward, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like I was saying, right? It's the kind of that ego of like, I'm just gonna box you up, man. I think there was one point in the fight where he did try to wrestle. It didn't really work out. Like Arroyo's got good hips, man. He's got good sprawls. So, what does it mean to you? Lastly, before we move on, man, what does it mean to you that in his post-fight presser, he used that time, that platform to say, "Hey, Dana White, UFC, do not cut this man Arroyo. He will be back. This man is a killer." What does that mean to you?
I really like that about Buckley, man. They always Uncle Chael always says it's dudes who get to the top that reach a hand down for you that you got to appreciate, and that's really what it is. Buckley knows that Arroyo and Arroyo is an absolute killer at range. He was doing very, very well, but to see that the guy we were talking about just a little bit ago, that's kind of on the outskirts, kind of a nomad of sorts, kind of the X factor, or like that the offset guy, what I'm talking about, that he's able to reach out for one of the homies as well. Bro, that's what you want to see right there. That's good looks. And Joaquin Buckley, he might get a little of heat back in, I think it's like New Orleans or wherever he's from, St. Louis, whatever it is. But he's a good dude right there. He's looking out for his moms and stuff, so he's got a good heart.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Missouri, man, because there's that beef with him in the Glory MMA, the James Krause camp, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
it's funny that you said nomad because that's kind of the story about him, right? Where it is he gets kicked out of gyms left and right, so he's just always going to different, kind of like Sean Strickland, you know what I mean? Just journeyman like that. But all right, big win for Joaquin Buckley, man, and he did close as a favorite, got the big dub, and got the performance of the night bonus, man. So shout out to him.